This is Madden 12 Ultimate Team update number 18, and I'm back from a long, well-deserved vacation, but my Ultimate Team is better than ever. Had a lot of catching up to do, so probably the best place for me to start would be with the Easter egg Tim Tebow card that was released last weekend, which has enabled me to finish most of all the team collections up until this point. This card was released in all packs, and if you manage to pull one on the back of the card, it says to keep until next week for a special surprise, which most of you now know goes into a collection of his own. I had a bunch of people messaging me telling me that they pulled one from a bronze pack. However, my success came from regular gold packs, as I was able to pull two a few hours apart from each other Sunday. I had originally thought that they were going to make a collection for him, and then the reward you get back would be a stacked Tebow card, but that turned out not to be the case. The egg hatched into Jets Tebow on the day of the collection release, and 3 new collections showed up. My first thought was, okay, there's 3 different collections. They are giving us the option to put him in either one for our choice of reward. Then once I realized you can get all 3 collections done with one Tebow, I didn't hesitate to go ahead and throw him into the collection. The first Spring Surprise collection awards you all the fantasy rewards for weeks 1 through 9, in which you can throw into the weeks 1 through 9 collection to get the rewards Calvin Johnson and Patrick Willis. However, as you guys know and seen, I already completed those. So now that the collection fantasy cards are now tradable and auctionable, I went ahead and transferred all of those over to my brother's Ultimate Team. You also are rewarded key number 2, which allows you to complete the Spring Surprise collection number 2. For that collection, you receive all weeks 10 through 16 fantasy reward cards, plus the weeks 10 through 16 collection reward cards. Again, none of these useful for me considering I completed these already, so I once again transferred all of those over to my brother's account. You are also given key number 3, and upon placing that into the Spring Surprise collection number 3, you are rewarded these 10 legendary players, all of which now go into a position collection besides wide receiver Deion Sanders. So I, as well as everyone else, was not expecting to receive this much just for one card that you could pull from a bronze pack. This card now became one of the most valuable cards in the game, considering all what you get in return. If you have not collected them already, which I'm sure most of you have by now, I would highly advise that you free up and clear your pending and trade block to make room for all of these cards, because the last thing that you would want to do is screw yourself and be forced to throw any of these on the auction block, which I'm sure someone has already done. Having 2 of these, I was not hesitant to keep any of these cards and figured the best thing to do would be to trade these while I could before all of these legendary cards exploded onto the trade block. And as you guys will see, that is exactly what I did. So to start where I left off, both right guard and left guard collections were released during the same week. The only hard cards from the collections were Ghost Leonard Davis and Steve Hutchinson, which most everyone should have already had considering they were both once auction block cards at one point. The right guard collection reward is 99 overall elite Jari Evans, and the left guard collection reward is 99 overall elite Carl Nix. Next in line was the right end collection, which turned out to be one of the harder position collections released. I expected Bruce Smith to be in the collection as well as Ghost Jason Taylor. However, EA chose not to put Bruce Smith into the off-season packs and boost his odds. So trying to get a Bruce Smith at the time of the collection release was tough. Even if you had already had Bruce Smith, they also chose to put in fantasy cards just like the strong safety collection. So in order to get this collection done, I made some trades to get fantasy Michael Johnson, as well as found the rest of the fantasy cards off the AH. So your right end collection reward is 99 overall elite Bruce Smith. Next in line would be the defensive tackle collection. The tough ones included Ghost Haynesworth and Henderson, as well as playoff Vince Wilfork. I had an extra Bryant McKinney, in which I traded for Henderson. I also traded Packers Reggie White for Haynesworth, and then traded legendary wide receiver Deion for playoff Wilfork to finish up the collection. The reward, 99 overall elite Ndamukong Suh. The free agent collection was also released that same day. I was able to obtain most of those off of the AH and even a few for minimum. And just to show you guys a good example of why it's always not a bad idea to offer somewhat common cards on other cards on the trade block, I offered free agent Carl Nix and cover vote Darrelle Revis on a free agent Vincent Jackson. The guy declined Nix but accepted Revis, so that's why it's not always a bad idea to offer up on cards. The last card I needed for this collection was David Gerard, and want to give a quick shout out to PSN Kool-Aid Man 47 for allowing me to buy him for coins. Very rarely do you see anyone wanting to sell cards for coins anymore. The free agent collection reward, 99 overall elite free agent Peyton Manning with plus 10 to morale, pass block strength, and release. The center collection has Olin Kreutz, which I already had, and then free agent Jeff Saturday, which I was able to grab off of the AH for max. The reward is 99 overall elite Nick Mangold. The right and left tackle collections were similar to the right and left guard collections, which were not too hard. The only one I didn't have was Mark Tosher. Noticed someone had one on the trade block looking for Ghost Terrell Owens, so I first traded a legendary Bruce Smith for Owens, and then offered him up on Tosher, in which that trade was accepted. Your right tackle reward is 99 overall elite Eric Winston, and your left tackle reward is 99 overall elite Joe Thomas. It seems as though they messed up the Eric Winston card, because by having Tony Gonzalez as my tight end, Winston still drops my chemistry. Even though the card has him on the Chiefs, which is indeed correct, somehow in their system it must still have them as a Texan. One of the reasons I can tell is by putting Winston in my lineup and going to the auction block and looking at the Chiefs right tackles Richardson and O'Callaghan, who both show would add plus 3 or 4 to my chemistry, when it should actually stay the same, so I'm not exactly sure what they did wrong there. The wide receiver collection is a big one with a total of 171 cards. They included both boosted and Raiders Rice, in which you can get from the Tebow egg, as well as the 4 ghost wide receivers, Smith, Ochocinco, Moss, and Owens. And if that wasn't enough, they also included the 3 free agent wide receivers, Fejax, Marshall, and Weems. I already had everyone except Marshall, in which I was able to make another trade for. The 3 wide receiver collection rewards are 99 overall elite Jerry Rice, 99 overall elite Randy Moss, and 99 overall elite Calvin Johnson. Just to give you a comparison of this Jerry Rice versus playoff Jerry Rice, they are pretty much the same for the most part, except for this elite one has a way better release. Other than that, they're really not that much different. Last and certainly not least was the last collection released up until today, and that was the cornerback collection. By far, I'd say the hardest position collection up until this point. Even though there are 98 cards in the collection, none of them are gold, so you will have to deal with finding a bunch of rare silvers and bronze cards. They put all the legendary Deion Sanders in the collection except for wide receiver Deion. Mathis, Samuel, and Bailey are the 3 ghost cards, and you also notice that they left out cornerback Devin Hester. Again, this is really a tough collection to complete. Even though Ghost Champ Bailey has been re-released back in the packs, I have yet to see more than 3 on the trade block at one time. As of right now, there are none, so that should give you a good idea of how rare this guy is. He is the last I need for this collection, and eventually I will get one. The rewards are 99 overall elite Darrelle Revis, which is the same picture as the gold card from last year, and elite 99 overall 49ers Deion Sanders. As far as upcoming collections, I would say the next position collection should be the middle linebacker collection. So if you haven't done so already, I would try to trade for Ghost Urlacher and Vilma, and probably legendary Ray Nitschke. Those 3 should be all you need for the most part to get that collection done. You can also probably expect to see a Madden cover vote collection, so if you pulled any of those, I'd say it wouldn't be a bad idea to hold on to those cards as well. EA made an announcement on their Twitter regarding their plans for draft day, which is Thursday, April 26th. They announced that on draft day they will be dropping players as they are selected, and will be putting them into Madden Ultimate Team packs in real time. Also, they have planned to create 6 future star cards that will be given special ratings as if it was their career year in the NFL. Those cards will more than likely be RG3, Andrew Luck, Justin Blackmon, Morris Claiborne, and Trent Richardson, as those were 5 of the 6 that were mentioned. They also went ahead and said that every draft pick you find in Madden Ultimate Team 12 will grant you that same rookie version in Madden Ultimate Team 13. So every draft pick that you find will carry over into next year's game. This I thought was good news because this opens the door up for discussion for them to possibly carry over other cards from this year over to Madden 13. And even though it's possibly a long shot, I had always thought that they would carry over the Club 100 cards for those that had them, just to have something from the previous year, because those cards, unlike these position collection rewards, have room for improvement. Not saying that that will happen, it's just a thought that I always had. No game in this update. I will maybe try to do one in my next video. Also, those that have been constantly asking about an Xbox card giveaway, It's been well over a month since I last logged on Xbox, and I really haven't had time to do so in order for me to keep up with these PS3 collections. So as of right now, I still have nothing of value to give away. If there are guys out there on Xbox that would be willing to donate cards for me to give away, then I would be more than happy to do one just like the one I did for PS3. But until I myself get any cards of value worth giving away, it won't happen. That pretty much wraps up this update. I believe I went over everything I wanted to cover. I have plans to do another PlayStation Home update for those that are interested, as well as more Madden updates as we get closer to draft day. This is Infamous. I'll see you all in my next update. Peace.